A disclaimer. I am still learning. That's why I'm in Bible school. I was told to give my understanding of the theology of worship. And as of October 2024, this is my understanding, which is subject to growth, like anything should be.
Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
So, whenever I offer my body as a living sacrifice to God, it's worship. So really, anything I do to the glory of God is considered worship. Like, I can drink a glass of water to the glory of God, as long as I do it with an attitude of gratefulness and honor. I could sit with God and breathe in his presence in an act of submission to his will. Clean my bathroom as an exhibition of sacrifice, firstly to my God, secondly to my family.
I can decide to honor God and not flip off the person who just cut me off on the road. And that, my friends, is also an act of worship.
I lift my voice to God, to him I sing, 'cause he made everything, I give him everything.
And all of this is worship. It's a lifestyle. But I also think that there is some level of intentionality in an act of worship. Transforming worship. Transforming is used as an adjective, not a verb. We aren't transforming worship, but rather transforming is a description of the type of worship we are seeking to engage in. It is for transforming us. It's sort of a circle. We worship because we've been transformed by God, which transforms us further, which makes us long to worship him all the more. Make sense? Worship is spending time in the presence of God and engaging with him in submission, confession, understanding, and proclamation of who he is and what he's done. This experience ought to transform our lives by sanctifying us in Christ. Typically, our modern day atmosphere, this is done through music. Nolan states that transforming worship can be broken down to the unity of 5 different concepts. 1, God is the one calling us to worship, not the other way around. This is true. God doesn't call us to worship at 9:30 with 200 people on Sundays, but rather he invites us at all hours. Although 9:30 on Sundays is typically when we actually accept the invitation. 2, it is a dialogue between us and God. We should have a chance to speak and a chance to listen to God. 3, it is to proclaim who God is and what he's done. Absolutely, like a prayer. This point reminds me of Psalm 78, a ballad of God's character and mercy and justice throughout his mighty acts in the Exodus. Our conversation with God should be reflecting back to God and who he is. 4, expression of our covenantal relationship with God. Worship should demonstrate the life of following Jesus, inspire others to do the same, and encourage faithfulness. When we walk out of whatever we are doing as worship, we shouldn't just leave it there. We are carrying it with us. We are being faithful. And number 5, reenacting God's saving acts of redemption. The examples given were the sacraments of the Lord's Supper, baptism, and the Old Testament feasts like Passover. In these acts, we are physically doing something that represents what God has done for us. For example, we should seek every opportunity to intentionally worship God, whether it be corporate or alone in his presence. I personally don't believe that this needs to be corporate in order to be transformed in worship. Nolan states, though, that every time we assemble, we have the privilege of proclaiming to each other and to the world who God is and all God has done. Public worship also allows us to renew our commitment to the Lord and to reenact, relive God's cosmic story of deliverance. So, look up at God and take every opportunity to worship Him, whether that be corporate or alone. Peace out.